What's up, you guys? Welcome back and welcome if you're new. In today's video, we're going to be upgrading my AUXBEAM switch panel to this brand new AUXBEAM switch panel. There is a couple differences, so I'm going to explain, of course, why I'm going to be switching it from that one to this one. Let's get into the video and I'll show you guys. So this is the old AUXBEAM switch panel. As you guys can tell, it gets all dusty under here and it just doesn't look professional at all. It looks really cheap. So we're gonna go ahead and take this off. We're gonna go to the back and I'm gonna show you guys the brand new one. Let's go. So this is gonna be the main reason why I'm switching it, which I'm gonna explain to you while we're doing the unboxing on the brand new AUXBEAM switch panel. So if you notice right here, this is the old one we just took off. So on the old one, I did drill into my fuse box cover here, and over time my fuses inside were kind of getting dusty, I'm not gonna lie. And then just this overall just looks very cheap to me. I'm not gonna lie, I mean, it's worked very well. It served its purpose. It's seen mud, it's seen dirt, it's seen water, and nothing wrong has gone. To me it looks cheap, and I'm done with having it on this cover. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw this away now. Looking right over here on this side, I bought a brand new Toyota cover. There's the part number, so if you guys do want it. So I'm gonna be replacing it. I'm gonna install this and I'm gonna explain to you guys why. So right now I have the brand new AUXBEAM switch panel unboxed right here. It does look pretty much the same except some of the stuff, which I'm gonna explain to you guys. So the switch panel, I did also get the 8 gang, so that way I have 8 switches on here. This looks identical as to my old version. You get some of the wires, which that looks very identical, but the two things that I can really point out, first off, is going to be this right here. On the old one, it looks like it's off an amplifier. So this is the old one, as you guys can tell. This is kind of what you would see on a car amplifier to put a sound system. So that's going to be trash. This is the brand new one that comes in the new AUXBEAM switch panel. That's changed. And then this right here, of course, this has changed. So if you guys do remember, the old one was kind of exposed like this. That's trash. This is going to be the brand new one here. As you guys can tell, it has a nice cover and it just looks super high quality overall. So with this one here, we're not going to be mounting it on top of the fuse cover. That's why I bought a brand new one. We're actually going to be using the brackets that do come provided, and I'm going to be mounting it somewhere inside the engine bay, which you guys will see. And all these other little things like this bracket here, the stickers, those are about the same. This is the same. This is the same. So this does come provided. As you can tell, this is an added fuse, if you guys don't know. But if you guys are installing this on a Tacoma, if you guys are installing this, I believe, on the RAV4s or the 4Runners or anything like that, this is not going to fit your fuse box. I'm going to explain why. So you have to go ahead and go to like AutoZone or Amazon and buy a low profile mini added circuit fuse adapter. So it's basically the same thing that comes provided. Only difference, as you could tell, the prongs here are sticking out. On the one that you need, they're going to be low profile like that, kind of with the plastic. So that's the difference. So make sure you guys get this or you won't be able to do this install. Another thing that I wanted to mention to you guys, if you guys do remember, on my old install, the reason why I mounted it here on top of the fuse box is because that added fuse, I ended up putting it into that fuse box there. What I'm going to be doing for this specific installation, why I bought a new one, is because this one I'm actually going to run it inside the cab and I'm going to put it in the fuse box that's inside the cab. So it's going to be a lot cleaner. It's just going to be a lot better overall. So that way this is better long term and I don't mess anything up. So there it is, you guys. Let's jump right into it. I'm going to go ahead and remove all the wires from my lights in the engine bay, kind of clean everything up. I'm going to install this and then I'll get back to you guys. Everything's now cleaned up. I got my brand new fuse box cover right here. I'm gonna go ahead and put it down now and then we'll get started on the installation. So this should go on fairly easy now that it's brand new. There it is, fresh clicks. Now I don't have to worry about this thing getting dirty anymore. So this will actually make it look a little cleaner as well. I'm thinking about mounting the brand new bracket into the brand new switch panel. It's actually going to be probably somewhere in this section here. Only downside to this bracket here, of course, I don't think it's made for the Tacoma specifically. It doesn't. That being said, it doesn't come with any screws to mount it into the stock location right here because there is mounting point. That being said, I'm probably going to have to go to the hardware store real quick, find some, and then one of them's probably have to get drilled into the body. So I don't know how comfortable you guys feel about doing that, but that's what I'm going to be doing. So I've now mocked up where I'm going to be placing the bracket, so I kind of know where I'm going to put it. The screws I'm going to be using come inside a little baggie, so I'm going to be grabbing these two, and these two right there. And noticing on the bracket here, you can go ahead and place it two ways inside the engine bay, this way or this way. For me, the way I have my engine bay set up, this is going to be the best way. It's going to be sitting like this, so this is going to go on here. So now that I know which way my bracket's going to be going, now I got to figure out which mounting point I'm going to put it in. I wanted to put it out here, the furthest away from the holes here, but it doesn't look like it's going to work out too well. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be mounting it here, like right about there. So to do that, what you need to do is, I'm going to open this just to make things easier. So what you do is you would grab one of the screws, one of the washers, put it right through, put it through the bracket on whichever hole you're going to put it on, and then you get one of the nuts and you tighten it down. So right now I'm not going to do it just yet. I just kind of want to show you how this mounts. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to go ahead and grab the bracket. We're going to go inside the engine bay, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to be doing. Once again, it's going to be going in here. For me, I do have hood shocks, as you can see the rod right here. So if I would have put the bracket this way, it would have kind of been in the way. So I need it to be kind of on the downward section there. So that's where I'm going to be mounting it. So I'm going to go ahead and mount it. I'm going to put the AUXBEAM switch panel, and we'll go from there. So now that I have the bracket mounted, we're going to go ahead and now put the switch panel on there. Before that, I want to explain. So if you can see, there's a bolt right here. So that bolt I just had kind of laying around in the garage, and luckily enough, I didn't have to go to the hardware store because that actually fit into the factory mounting point. So just to make this very nice and strong, what I ended up doing is on this side, I drilled out a really small hole, and then from there I went ahead and got one of the screws that came provided. They were like self-tapping screws, and I tapped it there. So now this bracket's pretty strong on there. Now to mount the switch panel, like I told you guys, you get the provided screws and washers. So there's one on this side, one on this side, and there's 3 adjustments. So you can go ahead and put it wherever you want. For me, I may do the second hole there, something like that, and then at the bottom I'll go ahead and put the nut that came provided. You want to make sure to do this in this orientation if you're mounting it here. Only reason why is because right here you have the tab to open it up, and then if you do it on this side, you won't be able to open up the panel and you won't be able to wire up your stuff. So keep that in mind, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and now bolt this down, and I'll get back to you. The next step now, we're gonna be working on the wiring as far as the power sources, and then the wiring for the switch panel. So what we're gonna be doing here is, you're gonna notice you're gonna have these type of cables here. You're gonna have a black long one, a red long one, a red short one. We're gonna go ahead and grab the red short one first, and then we're gonna grab this black long one. This red long one, we'll put it aside for now. Next thing you're gonna notice is this here. As you can tell, it has like a little clip. And then this here, this also has a little clip. We're gonna be working with these things here, including this little box. So opening up the box, on the side you're gonna notice there's little tabs. It's pretty easy. You might have to play with it a little bit, but it's not that hard. There it is. Okay, and when you open up that, you're gonna notice underneath there's a nut there. Underneath there's another nut there. You're gonna notice you have 2 sides to it. So the one closest to this 60A, you wanna leave that one blank. That one, once we're in the truck, that's where this big one's gonna go. It's gonna go there, and the other side will go to the battery. So we'll leave that off for now. Looking right here, you wanna open up this nut. That's where we're gonna put the little red one. So open it up all the way. Go ahead and slide that right over. Put that right through. And then you want to bolt this down. If I was you guys, I'd keep it nice and straight. That's going to be your best bet. With the size 10 socket or wrench, you go ahead and tighten this all the way down. This thing isn't going anywhere. You can go ahead and put your little black cap that was originally on there. And then there it is. just like that, make it look nice and clean. So let's go ahead and move on to the truck. We'll take this and this with us. When you're in the truck with that black wire, which is going to be your ground, and then with that red one, you're going to notice here you have a screw there and a screw there. If you see on the side, there's a red, there's a black. That just means positive, which is red, black, which is negative. Super simple. So we're going to go ahead and connect these to the corresponding colors. To do so, you're going to notice on the switch panel it has holes here. That's where you're going to want to go ahead and route the wiring through. So we're going to go ahead and kind of feed this through somehow. Feed it right through, unscrew. Just go ahead and put the right through. Then you go ahead and put it back. This might be a little bit hard only because this wire is really hard. So it might be a little tricky when you're putting it down. Just take your time, play with it, and it'll happen. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to keep this wire as straight as possible, only because I still need to run another wire through here and another 2 skinny wires. So keep that in mind when using up these holes and the spacing in here. So now, if you guys do remember these 2 that I told you to keep in mind, the one with the clip and the clip, those are going to go connected back here. So I'm going to feed these through first, and then we'll go ahead and connect the black negative one. And grab the one with the white clip. Same thing, you can feed it through. Should fit right through. Go ahead and bring it back. That's the one, the 2-pin connector will go on the 2-pin male side, and it should clip in. It only goes in one way, so keep that in mind. Make sure it clips all the way. This one here, we might have to add some wiring. Only reason why, because like I was telling you guys in the previous AUXBEAM video that I made, this red wire actually connected inside this fuse box here. But what I'm going to be doing this time is I'm going to go ahead and run this inside the cab and connect it to a fuse box that's in there. Just so that way it looks cleaner, and down the road everything kind of still works and I don't mess nothing up going through like a water crossing or something. So that, and then let's go ahead and do the black one now. This is actually going to be our remote wire, so that's going to go inside the cab connected to the remote, or like the little switch 8-gang panel that it comes with. Same thing, we'll feed it right through. And then this one is a 4-pin connector which connects to the 4-pin male connector. So same thing, it only goes in one way. Make sure you're putting it in the right way. I almost messed this up. Make sure it clips. You can hear it clip. Alright, so now that we got those wires kind of situated to where they need to be, next we're going to now run the last black grounding wire, which is going to go connected here. So let's pop that bad boy open. Try to feed this black wire, which is the ground, right through there as clean as possible. Probably about right there. Just put the bolt right through. Same thing, let's just bolt this thing down. Once you're satisfied with that, now just go ahead and clean up the wires some more. Now that I've cleaned up everything, as you guys can tell, it looks super clean. Now all I have left is of course to connect all my lights, which I'll do that at the end. But for now, up next, what we have left now, if you guys do remember, that red long cable. So now we're gonna go back to this little fuse blocks here. We're gonna go ahead and unscrew here with the size 10. Just take it off all the way, make sure you don't lose that nut. So there's only one. Put that right through. Nut back on. Noticing I'm not using any power tools on this. The base of it is plastic, so I don't want it to break. So I'm just kind of tightening it by, of course, my own force. So hopefully that's enough where it doesn't fall. Go ahead and put the little cap right over and grab the cap that it came with, that clear one, and just slide it right over. And if you did this correctly, it should just clip in. So now if you guys do remember how that last one looked, it looked like an amplifier. Now it looks super clean with this brand new AUXBEAM one. So this, we can go ahead and kind of set it somewhere to where it's not going to be in the way. So I'll figure this out at last, since this is the power sources. One's going to go to the power of the battery, the other one's going to go to the negative of the battery. So we'll leave this for last, of course, and I'll deal with it later. For now, coming back to this little thing here, what we have left is the red one and the one for the remote. So these two, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be getting a metal clothes hanger. I'm going to open it up, which I'll show you guys right now. We're going to put it together, tape it, and we're going to put it through the cab. So it's going to go inside, essentially. I do have to probably add a little bit more wire to this because I feel like this is not long enough to go into the cab. So I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, I'm going to add wire to the red one, and then we'll go ahead and do that method of running the wires inside. I'll show you right now. So now I've got in the metal clothes hanger. As you guys can see it, I kind of stretched it open. So what I'm going to be doing here is, if you remember that red wire and that black wire, I have it here. The red one, I'm going to be leaving it in the engine bay for now, but the wire that I'm using to extend it inside the cab, I have it here. I'm going to go ahead and tape it onto the clothes hanger. We're going to be running it into the cab, so I'm going to start right about there. And I put a good amount of tape just so that way I know it's not going to fall when I'm feeding it through the... You're going to see this wire here that I have in my hand is from the previous switch panel. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to pull this back inside the cab, and then the new one, which I have right here in this hand with the clothes hanger, we're going to feed it through that same hole. So just to give you guys a better look, if you look in there, that way you guys kind of see general idea where it's coming from. So if you see where I'm tugging, so the first time when I did this, I did have to do a small slit in that grommet that's down there, and then it'll allow you to push it through. So let's go inside the cab and kind of show you guys what we're working with. So coming inside the cab, what we're going to be doing is we're going to take off this floor mat, just because it's going to be in our way. If we don't, it'll be better for you guys to be able to see. So once this is off, you're going to see this panel here. You want to take it off. So just kind of work your way around it. Mine's broken because I've removed it so many times that it's just loose now, but not a big deal. And then you're going to see this kick panel here. So it's going to be hard to see it on the camera, but follow my finger. Literally right here, there's going to be a little screw. You unscrew it, it comes right off. It should be a little plastic one, kind of where you rest your foot. Once you've done that, you could then work your nails into this panel and push it back to release it. So noticing this is where that screw would be, the plastic one. You'd unscrew it and it'd come right off. And this will allow you to take this off. So now, let me get some light in here so I can show you guys inside of here. If you guys see this wire here, and noticing there, the grommet is right about there. So that's where we're going to be feeding the new one through. So we're almost done right now. All we literally have to do is kind of tidy up inside, put the new switch panel in there, like with the switches and stuff. And then of course this. So right now we're going to be working on this really quick, just so I can have this done. So of course, like I was telling you guys, the red one is going to connect to the positive of the battery. Red one's going to go connected to the positive of the battery. This black one, of course, like I told you guys, is negative of the battery. So I'm going to go ahead and connect these two right now, and then we'll kind of start working inside the cab, and then we'll be done, and we'll show you guys the features. Like I said earlier, this wire here is from our old switch there. So what we're going to be doing is pull this weather stripping back, just like that, and it's going to expose it. So what we're going to do, we're just going to kind of work our way behind here, because we're going to take the old one out. So here it is. And then here, I just have it double-sided sticky tape, so it should come off by me peeling it. Some good tape. Oh man, some good stuff. I'm gonna need to clean that so that way the other one sits there properly. Here's the old one. Like I said, it looks like the new one, but it's not. The new one has a lot more functions, so we're gonna take this out. With this thing exposed like this, what you're gonna do next, now grab the new wire that we ran in through here. We're basically gonna be doing the same thing. You're gonna run it up through the side here. Just like that. And you wanna tuck it in. And we'll leave this. We'll leave it just there for now. Let's go get the new panel so we can mount it, and then we'll connect it as well. Exactly how I had it mounted, I'm going to be mounting it the same way. This is our new switch panel and our new bracket. Inside the box comes the Allen key provided to loosen this up. So we're going to go ahead and loosen it up just a little bit. Just enough so we can kind of circle it around. And then you're going to notice in the back here there's three screws. Right here there's 4 mounting points. So we're going to kind of figure out where we're going to want to mount it by the name. Just mount it right over. All you do is match up the holes. So it should match up with 4. Inside are the provided little screws. So all you do is bolt it down to the bracket. Same thing like I had told you guys, same bracket. We adjusted it where we need it. We're gonna go ahead and get some of this 3M double-sided tape. That's what I had on previously. We're gonna get a strip, put it right here at the bottom of the bracket, and then we'll go ahead and stick it, and we should kind of be good to go, and then we can test it out. So I've cleaned off the surface, I'm ready to mount it. One thing to note, if you're doing it like me, make sure the wire is coming out through the side right here. I know it's meant to come out of here at the bottom, but if you're going to be mounting it like I am, this is going to be your best bet because it'll make it the cleanest install. Later down the road, I know Running for Tacos makes a mount for these, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll mount it, I think it goes down here somewhere and it looks a lot cleaner. But for now, we'll leave it there. So then I'll get the other end on here. And these only go in one way, so you gotta look at it in person. There's a slit there, and then on this side there's a male end to it, so put the male with the female, and like I said, it only goes in one way. So if you're not putting it in right, it's not gonna go in, so don't force it. Push it all the way in, go ahead and get the little nut that's provided, tighten it down as much as you can. Alright, and now we're gonna feed this back in just to make it for a clean install. That's the only thing you're gonna see, but I have a handy dash cover. Shout out to Dash Design for this thing, and there it is. So now we're installed, we're good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up here, and we're gonna move on to the bottom with the add fuse. So let me just put this weather stripping back on real quick. Exactly the way you took it off, goes back on. Nothing hard about this. Now that we're done there, let's move on to the add fuse. So here we have that red wire. So if you guys do remember when we were outside, there was the red wire that I told you guys to tuck in, that you may need to add wire to it to make it reach inside. It looks like I didn't need it, so that little strip that I had added onto it, I ended up just cutting it off. Here we have my add fuse, as you guys can tell. So I got the 20 right here at the bottom and the 30 right there at the top. So let's go ahead and go underneath the truck right here in the fuse box and show you guys how. You're gonna notice the fuse box here. So on your right side, this is the side that's closest to, like, say, the passenger. You're gonna see there's a 5, there's a 7.5, and then you got one fuse here, which I have it pulled out already. But this third slot, that's where you're gonna wanna go ahead and put your add fuse. So let's connect it there. I'll put it in and then I'll move my hand so you can kind of get better look. So as you can tell, so there it is. So now we're going to put the panel back on. We're going to test this out and see if it works. So right now I'm going to show you guys how much cleaner it looks in the engine bay, but before we do that, I already tested everything out, so now I can go ahead and put these panels back on, and we're basically honestly done. I'll show you guys what the last step, I guess, can be for you guys, but you're pretty much done as far as the installation, and it's so much cleaner. You're going to want to do this on yours. Let me finish this up and I'll get back to you. Now that we finished up all the wiring, the whole installation, as you guys can tell, it looks so much better. There's no more wires just kind of dangling. I know I still need to fix this. That's from a previous install. But overall, as you can tell, it looks super clean. Can't really see the wiring anymore. It's just nice and flush. And whenever I do want to add anything, it's super easy. I just click this button and it releases this, and then I can add more. So it's nice and clean. So let's go ahead and now get onto the new features and show you guys how the app works as well. Now that we showed you guys how to install the brand new AUXBEAM switch switch panel. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys kind of the cool features on this that's a little bit different than the last one. So this is a big upgrade because with this one you can actually make your lights flicker outside. You can go ahead and change the color on it. So if you're a girl, you can go to pink on the little panel here. If you're a guy and you like blue, you can go to blue. You go to white, green, red, doesn't matter what color you want. You can go ahead and switch this here. But once again, like I said, on the outside you can go ahead and toggle them to make them flash, which is pretty cool, at least in an emergency, or if you just want to do like a little light show if you're out camping. There you go. So I think this is pretty cool. It's a good upgrade, especially for the price. Check it out, description box below. It's super affordable for what it comes with. So first things first, go ahead and go in your box and grab this little pamphlet. When you open it up, you're going to notice it kind of explains to you how to use it. So on this, what I mean is it actually has a cool feature. So unlike the old one, you didn't have an app feature on your phone to be able to control them outside of the car as far as the lights. With this brand new one, you can go ahead and download an app, and it's super easy to download it. Just go on your app store, take a picture of this QR code, go on the app store and download the one that's for your specific phone, and then just follow the prompts. You have to be on Bluetooth to go ahead and connect to this bad boy here, but it opens up a lot of features if you do it. So I'd highly suggest it. If you did buy this newer version, I mean, that's kind of part of it, so I'd say do it. So once again, once you download it onto your phone, which I'm going to show you guys right now, I am connected Bluetooth, and as you guys can see, you can see your little switch panel here, and then you can go ahead and control the dimness. You could change the colors on it, and then if you go right here at the bottom, you could go ahead and go to icon, and this is kind of where you're going to set up what goes to what. So as far as for me, that first one is my ditch lights. So I can go ahead and go to setup. I click on photo. I can either take a picture of what I want, or I believe there's default icons as well that you can do. You can also set the name. So for me, I'm gonna go ahead and put ditch lights. I'm not gonna do it yet. I just kind of want to walk you guys through it. And then when you go to mode, you can also click which one you want to set. So for example, that first one's my ditch lights. I can make it to toggle. So toggle, you kind of want it when you're doing it for like I said, ditch lights, or just a light that you want on or off. Momentary is going to be like, I believe if I'm not mistaken, you turn it on and then it's going to turn off on its own like in a couple seconds. Pulsed is the cool one. So say on my ditch lights I want them to flicker, I could put it on pulsed, and then when I go to turn it on, it's gonna start pulsing. So I can do that, of course, to all the 8 switches on here and make all my lights go crazy. So like I said, if you want to do a light show out in the desert when you're camping, it's the way to do it. Affordable too. So then you can also group your lights. I'm not sure exactly on that one, so I'm not even going to touch base on that. You guys can figure that on your own. So let's go back to the color. I'm going to show you guys. So if you come right over here, it looks like I'm not connected. For some reason it got disconnected, but it's easy. You just go to settings here, and then you're going to be reselect device if it got disconnected, and then just go ahead and connect to it. So I've already connected to this top one, which is me. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and connect, and you see it's that simple. So once again, just to show you, settings, and then right here reselect device, and that's it. Super simple. So you can go ahead and adjust the brightness, dim it, adjust the brightness, and then you can also go to different colors. So maybe pink just for now, and then adjust the brightness, and then you can also just do preset colors there. So now that I showed you guys how to use that, it's super simple. If you guys do end up wanting to go ahead and purchase it, like I said, I do recommend it. I had the previous version which was more exposed, and that thing lasted me forever. So I can only tell you guys this one here is probably going to be a gem. So if you do want it, description box below. Super affordable, and it has so many functions on here. So I'm really digging this. If you guys want it, check it out. If you guys did like today's video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Super simple. Please feel free to subscribe.